Hey everyone, it's Ivan with kitbadger.com, here to bring you a tip. Today we are talking about a route to go with respect to getting a slide machined out for a RMR or even just cocking serrations, either or, and kind of a alternate route you can take. I decided I want to get into the RMR game, mounted on pistol slide, Glock 17 in particular, and started looking around and found it to be cost prohibitive. A lot of different companies out there doing it, but they're either really expensive and or there's huge, like massive lead time because they're doing good work, which that's fine, but didn't have a lot of money. Also didn't want to wait like indefinitely to get this thing back in my hands. So searched the interweb and ended up coming up with these two articles by gentlemen who I don't remember, but they were on rifleshooter.com. In the articles, he went through and he detailed the entire process of machining out for RMR, cutting the new rear notch for your actual like iron sight. And then in the other article, he talked about doing cocking serrations in the front. And I was like, wow, that's pretty cool, because he actually went through and explained like all the dimensions, like how we cut it, everything like that. But I'm not a machinist. He also mentioned in there, the one thing you need to is like a footprint from Trijicon for the RMR. He's like, just reach out to them, they'll give it to you. So I was like, all right, reached out to Trijicon. They're like, oh yeah, here you go. Gave me the schematic. I was like, sweet. So armed with those, that blueprint, as well as these two articles on the how-to, reached out to a machinist friend. I was like, hey, is this inside your wheelhouse? He's like, yeah, I could totally do that. I was like, sweet, let's get this thing going. So went ahead, gave him my slide, gave him those two links, gave him that blueprint, and a little while later, some magic happened. As you can see, there's a bunch of oil on this. Basically threw it on there to protect it. Once the machining's done, it's all just raw metal, it will rust. So I went ahead and used the cold bluing gel, did a little video on that, basically to help protect it, threw some oil on there while I'm finishing putting this thing together. But as you can see up front, did an amazing job with these cocking serrations to include on the top, and then over on this side, and went ahead and preserved Austria 17 and a little Glock emblem. Pretty cool. And then back here, did a really great job of actually making this radius to where the RMR fits straight in there. Additionally, you have this back piece right here, and once it's in there, because of that radius, it cannot move. It can only move vertically. So under recoil, you're not gonna have any issues. Additionally, of course, it's gonna be bolted in right there. And the way the schematics were that I was having them follow that I found online, the rear sight for the iron sights was placed up front. And I went ahead and kept it that way. I actually like that better. And it's kind of one way or the other, whatever works for people. What I do like about this though is if your Glock pistol is not extracting properly, which can happen, you'll have rounds come straight back. And this will basically serve to deflect those rather than have them go straight into the lens of the RMR and jack that thing up, which I definitely don't want. Also, just as a note, in the instructions, they basically use the special bit that is pretty much just used by gunsmiths for making rear sights. But the machinists I took it to, being perfectionists, were like, one, we don't have that tool, and we have a better way to do that. So they actually did like wire EDM, whatever the hell it's called, basically magic, and cut this rear notch. And when I was first handling it, I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool, blah, blah, blah. Super sharp, super sharp. Ended up cutting my thumb open on that thing. But it's since healed, and I have since then went ahead and got my rear sight and my front sight installed, suppressor height, the just Amerigo black. And now I just need to throw my RMR in there. When I go to mount my RMR on here, I want to make sure I have this. It's just a little mounting kit. Basically, it's a footprint for the RMR that allows it to, when it gets bolted down, it sucks it down on there and makes sure the RMR stays waterproof so you don't get water in there and wreck your $500 optic on there. And it also comes with a couple screws in there, obviously the right thread pitch, And those screws already have a little Loctite on them, so you don't have to mess with that either, which is nice. Now that I'm ready to go ahead and mount this, I'm going to take my mounting plate, put it on there. As you can see, even the top is radiused on this plate, and it's a little wider than my slide. What that's going to allow is to completely cover the footprint of this, which would otherwise be too wide for the slide, let water in. So I'm going to put this on there. As you can see, once it's in there, it is perfect. It can't move laterally because of that radius up front and how perfectly it's machined in there. At this point, all I have left to do is throw these guys in there and tighten this thing down, and I will be on my way. All right, finished torquing it down. If you're wondering torque specs, usually go until my Allen wrench bends and then back it off about a quarter turn. Usually does a good job. Don't do that. But now it's all mounted, and the only thing I have left to do is take it to the range, get this thing zeroed, and probably put a new paint job on it. But yeah, if you're interested in going RMR route, or even just having some machine work done, check out your local machine shops. Machinists are amazing. They're nothing against gunsmiths, but they're next level. Like, the amount of skill, the precision they work with. As an example, the machine shop I went to, they did parts for the Mars rover. Amazing guys. And pretty inexpensive comparatively, quick turnaround time. Check your local shop. Also, I'll go ahead and check my shop that I used, and I'll see if they're interested in doing part work, one-off stuff. And if so, I'll let you know how to contact them. As always, thanks for joining us at kitbadger.com. Look forward to seeing you next time.